Hello. Not bad, just somebody else.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you want to come on have a conversation?
My sister's going to come with me.
Oh, that's your sister? So I reviewed the information. So I spoke to my officers. They've given me like a heads up about what's going on essentially with the investigation. I reviewed everything you sent me an email on today. So just wanted to, so I called you earlier. Did you get my message earlier?
No.
Okay, so
That's already out.
is your phone number, is that the one that goes to like what is it, real estate or something, right? Okay, so that's the one I called, I left a message and then just sent you an email. So what's going on that you have concerns about? Like I understand there's lots of concerns. I don't want to go over the full investigation, but I just wanted to see what I could help you with.
Number one, I guess when the two officers, 4606 and 4683, especially 4683, came to my house, they seemed to be on a mission to invalidate everything I was saying. Every single thing I said, they kept taking it out of context, trying to belittle it, and I was actually shocked. They told me incorrect information. They said, somebody. I told them, I said, because it's obviously a very uncomfortable situation. Like I come from a very conservative East Indian Hindu family, and for a judge in the middle of a hearing in front of my brothers to be soliciting me for sex and telling me that, he won't give me the orders unless, and then I was like mortified, like I was so humiliated, and I didn't know how I should respond because this is a judge. Yeah. I sat there silent, and I was just like, maybe if I just sit there silent, you know what I mean? And then there's a point where you kind of just, this is happening, you know what's happening, you know what's happening, but you're just like zoned out. You're just like, you can't believe it. And at one, and I explained all that to them. I explained it to Ryan last week as well, and Ryan right away, he got it. I even explained it to the cadet that's there today as well. So it made me feel uncomfortable that yesterday when I came in, because Ryan said, I think he had spoken to you in front of me, and he'd spoken to, I think, 4606, and he said, don't worry. And what he had told me on the 19th is that, they didn't really make much notes. They didn't do a report. 4606 and 4683, the two original officers who came out, they did nothing. And they had actually somebody had gone out to see Justice McEwen, and then nobody, for all these months I've been calling and emailing, they haven't bothered to call me back or anything. And then surprisingly, now that Ryan said send additional information, because apparently that's what 4606 was waiting for, but why wouldn't she tell me that? Like you have to tell me that you want additional information rather than just leave me hanging for months, and like 4 months. And then it made me feel very uncomfortable that when I was on the phone with 4683 yesterday, she's saying, oh, well, it's over 4 months. Well, that's because you guys kept not calling me back. I was calling you back within days. I was getting back to you, right? So, and then I spoke to Ryan last week, and he said, don't worry, and you seem like very reasonable. Like, you seem very, like, and even, he said, don't worry, we'll be doing a proper investigation. We'll, send us the information, and, if the audios exist, we should go and get them, because, instead of having me continually having to relive this thing over and over.
That's tough, right? You don't want to have to do that.
Personally, they don't have proper training, because all the things they were telling me, like what Officer 4683 said to me in September when she first came up. She says, a woman who's been through this will remember every little detail and stuff like that. Which is odd, because I have been seeking support from a couple of women's support groups, and all the education that they taught me after these officers had come out, they said no. The majority of women have memory loss because it's their way of protecting themselves, because this is similar to, post-traumatic stress disorder. Like it's like, and for me, it's the whole thing is just being human. And then I said to them, even at it'll be on body cam, I said to them, if I'm lying, go get the audios, because the audios will prove everything instead of having me relive this. Why are they not helping another woman? Like this is, it's so uncomfortable. And my sister's been in some of the hearings where some of the judges, they're actually leaning over and talking to the lawyers and saying, how do we keep her silent about the sexual harassment? So, and then the lawyers are coming up with this, declare her vexatious, and that way we shut her up for good and stuff. And I relayed all this to Doug Ford's office, my MP, and I've now engaged the Chief Justice of Canada, actually his office, and they're encouraging me to also, I have already started approaching Mr. Trudeau, but I'm trying, honestly, I don't understand why this man just doesn't move on. And now that case is almost getting wrapped up, he's starting something else. It's like, the man why can't he just move on? I don't understand why he just doesn't move on.
It seems exhausting, that's for sure.
Well, the thing is, even if somebody comes onto you, but then they just don't do all these things to punish you, because he's the head of the department. Yeah. So all these judges work for him. So it's been like a poisoned environment where, and I sent you, I showed you how the lawyers have been treating us, and when we go into hearings, that's how we're being treated. And it's like, every time I stand up for myself and say, hey, stop treating me like this, and we deserve to be treated equally, and I don't deserve to be sexually harassed. If I say no, I don't care if it's a judge or the prime minister, he doesn't have a right to expect something. Like, the guy was acting like a man scorned, like he has some sort of entitlement. Like, there's no woman who should have to, in Canada?
It's a lot to have to deal with.
And then to deal with, I don't want to deal with those two original officers again, because all they've been doing is basically, all 4683 he did yesterday, and she changed her story several times, and she was like, she has no credibility at all, because on several different things, every time she'd say one thing, she'd change it, and then she'd say something else and stuff like that. And you know what? That's not cool, honestly, right? She should have, Ryan. He was so different, because he listened to me. Even the cadet, when I spoke to the cadet, they listened to me. They didn't try to devalue, and they tried to help me. That's what a police station is for.
Yeah, and so
I feel more traumatized, honestly. Just coming, I came in here because I thought Ryan was going to be here today again, and I just.
Yeah, so there's not much that they can do from this point. Any of the officers at this point can't really do much from this point.
But they haven't investigated anything.
Okay, so I understand your concerns, and I definitely understand how this can be exhausting, and you feel like you haven't been, the police haven't been there for you, and I understand that all. Okay, well, that's not true, because I've seen the work.
No, they haven't. Okay,
I've let you talk.
Okay,
I'm going to need you to let me talk, okay?
Sure.
So like I said, I definitely understand what you've been going through, and if I was in your position, or if my family was in your position, I'd feel the exact same way, okay? So I'm not saying you don't have any right, and it's just a lot that you have to been through, 100%. So what I've done is I've spoken with the two original officers about what happened. I spoke to Ryan, and I've gone through the documentation that you sent me, and I've watched the videos that you sent me, which was helpful to get my head around what's good, because obviously and because I'm not the original investigating officer, I'm just their supervisors, right? So it's I'm not in there with every little detail doing the investigation.
When I played that video from my group support group, they said, you've talked about here and there, but until you see it in the video, then you really understand what's happened, right? And that's why I've actually sent that to the court. Because it's helpful just to summarize, because it's hard. I'm already going through so much, and then to in one sitting just go to kind of, relay it. It just makes it a lot easier, I think.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't want to have to keep explaining yourself over and over again, right? Because that's exhausting. It's a lot too, right?
It is.
100%.
It is.
Yeah.
It's I haven't been sleeping again, because it's it's tough. I don't, but I can tell you, they have not done a proper investigation. They never even tried to get the audios, and they never got back to me. I do not believe 4683 for Angela was telling me that her emails, she never gets her emails. And then funny enough, when I sent her and I copied her the email from TPS, she got that right away. And then she was telling me, oh, my partner sent it. So I said, well, how come she didn't send the other stuff? How are you telling me? I'm sorry, but I don't believe anything she says. I think her purpose is just to invalidate me and to stop this investigation. And I would like it assigned to another officer. I've already relayed the situation to Officer White, and he was more than helpful. And he said, yes, send the information, send proof from the transcription management office that the audios exist, and he was willing to, and like I said, he spoke to you in front of me last week, and both of you were willing to carry it through. So
at this point, so both Constable Frangella and Gagnon, those were the two officers that you originally dealt with. They've been speaking with me throughout this process, and I've seen their emails and correspondence back and forth. So, and I've seen the investigation and everything that they've explained to me at this point. Like I said, I also spoke to White and reviewed everything. So the thing that you have to understand from our point of view is we can only take action when there's enough proof to prove that a criminal offense has taken place. Okay? So I'm not saying you haven't been wronged and you haven't gone through a crazy amount of stress and you still continuing are 100%. But our hands are tied when there's not that evidence to...
But there is.
Okay, 1 second. When there's not that evidence that will allow us to lay a charge.
But evidence is there because the audios do exist.
Okay, so Frangella or Gagnon or White has never heard these audios to prove that any type of criminal offense have happened, right?
But that's
1 second, please.
Sure.
So they have not heard those, right? So they've contacted Toronto Police who spoke with the judge and looked through all the transcripts and everything. So it's not like an improper investigation has been done, because that's not true. A proper investigation has been done on our side. They've contacted Toronto. And it depends where things happen, right? If it happens in Toronto, Toronto deals with it. But we both liaise with each other, and everything that's been listened to or went through, there's no grounds there to lay a criminal offense for us, unfortunately.
Okay, but that's not true because nobody has listened to the audios.
Okay, so do you have the audios?
No, but the audios are the evidence that exists that you guys are supposed to be getting.
But what are the audios saying?
The audios are going to prove that he, number one, solicited me for sex.
No, hold on. What are the audios saying? What's they saying?
The audios is where he is saying that he wants sex in exchange for his orders. When he didn't get them, he said he's not going to, that I'm using him for his orders, so therefore he's not going to give me them because I wasn't responding to him. Right? That's exactly what happened. Okay. And then when I wouldn't say anything to him, that's when he blasted me, and he went on about, how you don't want me, somebody like you don't want me. And then there was another hearing afterwards in September where he said similar.
So that's what Toronto was investigating, correct?
No. Toronto's not investigating it.
Well, that's under my understanding they are, because it's happened in Toronto, correct?
No, it actually happened. I was in my house on a Zoom meeting. Okay. So it actually happened when I was in my house. Okay. And that's right. So that's why it's within this jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. And as I explained to all the officers, and Officer White agreed, and I heard him speak to you. And
you did not hear him speak to me, ma'am.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Well, I saw him on the phone, and he told me he was speaking to you, so why would he lie, right?
Well, I'm not saying he's lying at all, but you just said you heard him speak to me, which is not true.
Well, I saw him with the phone, and he told me he was just on the phone with you, so...
Okay, so you did, right? But you did not hear him speaking to me. So I would like, whatever we're speaking here, it needs to be the truth, okay?
Yeah, but I saw him speaking with you.
You saw him on the phone,
I
correct?
saw him. He told me he was speaking to you. You're his supervisor, right?
He has multiple supervisors, but I am one of his, yes.
Well, he told me he spoke to his supervisor.
Okay, no problem.
I understand from yesterday that is you.
Okay, but you did not see him speaking to me. So,
I saw him.
Okay.
No.
I'm just saying whatever's being said here needs to be accurate.
But and I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
I saw him. He was on the phone, and then he came out, and he said, there must be cameras in here. He came out, and
there's no reason to pull any cameras.
I'm just saying. He came out, and he said to me that he was just speaking to his supervisor, and rest assured, send me the additional information, Mohini, confirmation that these audios exist.
Okay, so did you send that information?
I did. I sent you
copies of the audio.
No, I sent you confirmation that the audios exist. And he said that, the fact that the evidence exists, you guys should be getting them. Why aren't you getting them?
So what I can tell you is my officers have conducted an investigation And from their investigation, it's determined that there's no criminal offense to support us laying a charge.
Okay, but they have what they haven't done an
Okay.
investigation.
Okay, so that's not true.
Will you get the audio?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people get the audio?
Yeah.
So if you have proof, so one
But
second.
why aren't you guys investigating and getting the
So we
audios?
have, they've investigated
They
to
have
the,
not- they have
okay,
not-
well, I'm not gonna go back and forth, right?
No.
You say no, I say yes, I'm not gonna go back and
No,
forth,
but-
there's no reason for me to lie. My officers, we oversee what they're doing and making sure everything is done correctly. They are
okay.
very good, thorough officers.
No, but
and they
you're-
would have no reason to lie
Toronto
about this.
Police has not gotten the audios.
Okay, so,
Right?
so what we need to do from this point on, because I'm not gonna continue arguing back
I
and
have an
forth.
email
Are you
correspondence.
listening to me?
Yeah, I have.
Because you can't talk and I can talk. That's not how it works.
Okay.
Okay? So if you're going to talk, I'll listen, but you need to listen when I talk
Sure.
to you.
Okay.
Okay? Because I don't want to go back and forth. Essentially what can happen, if you have proof that any criminal offense that has taken place, you can provide it to us and we would look into it. But everything up until this point that has been provided and that the officers have investigated and liaised with Toronto Police for, we have not uncovered anything that provides a criminal offense. So from this point on, there's no further action that we can take to help you out. So there's a couple options that you can do is if other evidence comes forward that proves that some type of offense took place, no problem, you just call our general non-emergency line and we will come and take care of it for you and then again determine if there's a criminal offense and if there's not. Now, if you're not satisfied with that, you can always go to the courthouse and lay your own information, which means that you would go to the courthouse and you say whatever criminal offense you believe has taken place, you can go and then lay your own information at the courthouse. And so those are kind of the two options at this point. And if you're not satisfied, there's a complaint process through Peel Police and the OPIRB that you could also look into.
So now I've listened to you, right? And what I'm saying is the audios exist. So I spoke to Toronto Police and I spoke to you. Nobody has gotten those audios, right? Nobody has gotten those audios. They exist. I told you that they exist. What exactly did your officer do to investigate? They didn't do anything. When I spoke to Officer Fergella yesterday, she did nothing. What she told me, I have an audio with police officer Frangella from yesterday where she lied. She said that on that day when I came in September, we closed the file. And then I said, well, no, you didn't, because I've already confirmed. And then she finally did backtrack and say, yes, that apparently somebody was sent out, a sergeant, she said, was sent out to speak to Justice McEwen, right? Then they
in Toronto, I think, but not with us.
No, she said a sergeant within Peel. Right?
Went to Toronto?
Went out to Toronto and actually did an investigation, right? TPS has only just become involved as of last week. Up until now, right? Before that, it was only Peel Police, and your officers never bothered to communicate. They never bothered to email me back. They never bothered to call me to let me know what's going on. I didn't even know that they had actually gone out somebody had gone out from Peel to go and speak to Justice McEwen. They left me hang, and what I had told them is I said, if you're not going to go and get the audios and do a thorough investigation, there's no point in you talking to him because it's just going to make him retaliate. So guess what? As of last week, when that other detective from TPS contacted me, he's retaliated because now he's saying I harassed him. Right away, he gets a detective, and the officers here are just basically trying to invalidate me. So that's how I know that she didn't do much, because I actually have her on tape from yesterday, right, where she actually lied. And that's why when I sent you the email last night, I could actually say that because I do have proof of that. So what I'm saying is I would like this investigated properly, starting with somebody from this group going out and getting the audios, because this situation was started by me to Peel Police in September. Because they did nothing. They basically are just waiting for this guy to basically retaliate against, which is exactly what he's doing.
Okay. So I understand your position, but unfortunately we don't reinvestigate incidents. So
But there's no investigation.
Okay, but that is
What
not
did they do?
true.
What did they do?
That is not true.
Can you tell me what they did?
No, I'm not going to go over everything.
But it's my investigation. Why don't I have the right to know what they've done?
You've spoken to them multiple times.
They
Okay,
haven't
you've
told me
spoken
anything.
to Constable White multiple
They haven't
times?
said anything of what they, yeah, and Constable
Okay.
White told me they did nothing.
I'm sure he didn't tell you they did. Well, that's incorrect, because I've seen their notes and I've seen the email correspondence.
But why aren't you telling me what have they done to do an investigation?
I'm not going to go over all the
But you
details.
should, because I've never been told.
Okay, well, I find that hard to believe because they've spoken to you multiple times.
But you're telling me that they did all this stuff in investigation, so why can't you tell me what have they done?
Because I don't know all the very little specific details of it, but I do know I can accurately say that they have conducted an investigation.
Well, I'd like to know what they've done to conduct an
Ma'am,
investigation.
at this point, I'm not going to stand here and argue. So what I'm telling you is this investigation is not going to continue on our end because there's no evidence of any criminal
But they
offense.
haven't investigated it.
Okay, so if you don't believe they've investigated, you have the right to lay a complaint against police.
But I'm
okay?
but I'm asking you, please provide me what have they done to investigate? You're telling me that they did investigate. You said all these emails. What have they done?
They have determined through speaking with you and speaking with Toronto Police
So they haven't done anything. All they've done is speak to me and speak to Toronto Police.
Okay.
So that's not an investigation. They never went and got those audios. And I know Toronto Police never did either.
Okay. So at this point, what I'm telling you is this investigation is not going to continue on our end because, like I've said before, there's no grounds to believe a criminal offense took place.
Because you're only going based on those officers that only came out to try to invalidate me.
No, I don't believe that they came out to try to invalidate you at all. Okay, well, that's your belief.
No, that's not my belief. I actually have her on tape twice yesterday, right, saying exactly that, basically just trying to invalidate me. That's all she's done.
Okay.
That's the only, that's not an investigation.
Okay.
Right? That's actually re-victimizing me.
And I would never want you to be re-victimized in this
But please
incident.
tell me, what did they do to invest? All she's done is basically the emails that I sent a copy to her from TPS. She's just viewed, and even then yesterday she was saying, "Oh no, I wasn't getting any of that stuff. I didn't have it." Right? So that's not a proper investigation. She told me yesterday when I came in that she filed a report to all of a sudden after 4 months close it, and then I said, "Well, did you get this information I sent you?" She said she didn't. So how could she close it when she didn't get any of that information? She didn't even. She claimed she didn't even get the information I sent last week. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So it tells me that she didn't do an investigation.
Okay. So that's what you believe from your end. So there's a complaint process against people that you can do
I'd like
lay a complaint.
Do you have a supervisor? Because I would like to escalate this to your supervisor.
Well, that's not how the complaint process works. How it works is that if you're not satisfied with speaking to me as their direct supervisor,
because you didn't
if you're not going to listen to me, I'm just gonna leave this conversation.
Yeah, but you didn't do. You cannot. Every time I've asked you what they've done nothing. All they've done is talk to me a few times, and then they've talked to TPS only because I connected them with TPS.
Okay, well, but if you're the complainant saying that this happened, you need to provide us with information that we can act on to see if there's any grounds to lay an offense.
I told you that audio is
Exactly.
available. I've given you confirmation that the transcription management office has said these audios are available. Mm-hmm. You're just refusing. Your officers refuse to actually go and get them.
That's not true.
Well, then what have you done to get? What have you done to get them? Yeah.
So they've spoken with the Toronto Police, and it's not available. That's not there for our.
I have.
Okay, well, if you can produce it, then they can definitely investigate. If you're saying they exist, why do you not know what they say, and why do you not have them?
I know what they've said, and that's what I've tried to tell you. That's what I conveyed to your officers and you. Mm-hmm. And I've given you the confirmation that Mr. White had told me to send to you that yes, these ought to confirm that the audios exist. You just finished saying that, if I have information that you guys can act on, I did.
Absolutely.
The information that I have, and I provided you proof from the transcription management office that these audios exist. I gave them that information since back in September. They chose not to get those, and they're trying.
So you don't know that they chose not to get those.
They chose not to get them.
They've conducted an investigation, which has led to a point that has not been able to produce any evidence to lay a criminal charge. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
I just heard what you said,
okay.
And what you also said is the only investigation they've done is they've talked to me a couple times, and now that I've involved Toronto Police, TPS, now they're aware of those emails, right? And maybe, I don't know, conversations. But they've never went and gotten those audios, which I told them from the beginning. So they actually did not act on the information that I gave them.
They acted on the information, they just haven't been able to uncover any evidence of a criminal offense.
Because they haven't actually tried to get the audios.
Okay.
Or somebody can get audio.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So why aren't they getting them?
So they have not been able to obtain these audios that you're talking about. If you can obtain them, if there's a way to produce them, and we can see, yes, this is a criminal offense, 100% we will investigate it and we will act on it.
But have they tried to get the audios?
Yes, they have. They've been in contact with Toronto Police.
Not Toronto Police, it should be the transcription management office.
Yes, so this is what they've been doing, is liaising with Toronto Police, who have been accessing this and being able to, because it's part of Toronto and part of PO. Do you understand that? So it's not like we can go into Toronto if it's their investigation.
No, but it was your investigation first, but your office just sat on their ass.
Okay. I'm not gonna, no.
They didn't do anything. But they didn't do anything.
I'm not going to.
Right?
So would you? Okay, I'm not going to continue to argue.
No, wait a minute.
This is the complaint process that you can.
No, but this investigation. Let me just finish. Investigation.
I'm not arguing with you anymore.
No, it's not a matter of arguing. Your officers did not do anything.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. It's not true.
They never went to the transcription management office, where I've given you in confirmation from the transcription management office that these audios are available. They never went to the transcription management office to obtain this information.
They have not been able to obtain them. Okay, and if you guys think that it's...
Did they try to...
I don't have the specific details because, like I said, they're the investigating officers. I can't explain every detail that they've done.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, apparently, from my understanding, there's an order that they have to get, right? Did they even try to get an order in order to obtain those audios?
I'm not going to explain every single process that the officers have done. If you believe there's different steps that police need to take, I'm not going to go through it. They've done everything they can, and they have not been able.
What I'm asking you. But what
I'm not going to continue this. So I'm going to go back to that door if you're not going to listen to what I'm saying.
But what I'm asking you, because I need to really explain, what I'm asking you is, did they try to get an order to get those audios?
Ma'am, I don't even know that we need to get an order. I could look into it a little bit further to explain to you that, but I don't even know that us as officers have to get orders. Let me speak with the officers. I can get a bit more detail about that, but above and beyond that, there's nothing else that I can help you with.
Okay, because that's all I've been telling them from the beginning.
I can email you that. I'm on for the next 2 days, and I can send you an email by my last night shift with a little bit of information on that. But above and beyond that, there's nothing that I can do to help you out here today. Or that this investigation. Above and beyond, more information coming from these transcripts.
What we'll do is we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, because if you can get your hands on them and there's some evidence, we are more than happy investigating, right? I'm not saying it's not being taken seriously, because there's been a lot of police officers' hours involved in this, and we don't just want to brush things off, right? Like, we're here to help the public, right? And if something's happening and we can help, that's what we're here for. We're not here just to brush people off, right? But our hands are only tied so much as to what evidence there is that gives us the power to lay a charge.
Yeah, I know, but the whole issue here is, number one, your officers did brush me off because they came out in September. And every time I reached out, I called, every time I sent an email, and I have several emails that you can see over the months where I've sent them, they did brush me off because they didn't even bother to follow up with me.
So part of the problem is the cross communication with Toronto and PO.
That does make it complicated. Anytime two different regions are investigating something, it does make it a little more difficult. Not to be said it can't be done, but obviously sometimes things get lost in communication, 100%. It makes it a bit more complicated, but I mean, it's nothing.
We personally ourselves can get it from Toronto ourselves.
So, see, the ways that we can go about it is very different than the ways that the public can go about it. So I'm not really well versed in how you can go and get those type of documents. but I could look into it a bit more on our end. But as for you guys, I'm not really sure how it works because we're not really involved in that type of thing, right?
I would like a report on
Yes.
this situation.
Yep. So you can definitely do that. So you.
Then they would print off the whole spiel and
Yeah.
give me a report.
Yeah, so you have to go through like an application process. Sometimes you have to pay for it, but you go through our records and they'll provide you like any type of our reports.
But what I understand is what's supposed to happen, right? And I did do some research and I spoke to, different people. And, what I understand is what's supposed to happen because, again, my report to Peel Police had started before TPS,
Yep.
right? Unfortunately, and I don't know if you want to hear it or not, but I have the proof. I've sent them email upon email, I've called,
I've seen all the emails.
They just never bothered to even respond to me.
Well, that's not true because I've seen email correspondence between you guys.
No, nothing. No, they haven't responded even once to me.
No, but more
Not even once. No, there's not even been one correspondence with me, even to date.
I've seen the emails, ma'am.
Show
Okay,
me.
but what she's
No,
saying
I'm
is...
not-
There's not even one email between me and no.
Okay.
What you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying we disagree, right? I'm not going to argue.
No,
I'm just saying we disagree.
not disagree. There's not even one correspondence
Okay.
between your policeman
Is it perhaps I'm
responding
sending the
back.
wrong email?
No. Chandra, I'm trying to explain. right?
Ma'am, I'm not going to argue.
No,
You say one thing, I'm saying the other. So I'm done.
No, but you're telling me something that's incorrect.
Okay.
There's not even been.
Well, I believe you're telling me something that's incorrect.
But then show me an email that they've ever responded to me.
Ma'am, I'm not getting into this. This is what I'm saying. This is not productive.
But it is.
We have all that, right?
No, but it is.
That's what you have to
It is.
request through the Freedom of Information.
But every time I present a truth, you try to shut me down, ma'am. I don't want to, And
I'm not shutting you down. I just don't agree with you.
You are. Well, then you show me an email because I can tell you there hasn't been even one time they've ever responded to me. Not even once.
Okay.
TPS responded to me, but not you guys ever.
Okay, then
Right? So don't say something that's untrue.
well, it's not true. It's not
right?
untrue.
Well, then show me an email where they've one time
I do not
ever
need to produce
responded.
anything, ma'am. What you
I
need
have
to...
a recording with her yesterday. No.
I'm going to walk away in a minute. Because this is not productive.
No.
Yes, and you're not going to tell me what to do.
Because you're not allowing me to speak. Every time
I've been here for 45 minutes.
No, I know, but every time I try to make a point, you try to shut me down in this kind of a way,
No,
right?
I just don't agree with you.
I actually have a recorded calls meeting with Officer Fagella, who admits she never responded to my email and neither did her partner. So why are you telling me that they've ever sent an email where they've never have?
We just disagree on it.
We can't. Well, then you have to show me that.
I don't
proof.
have to do
Yeah.
anything. No,
if you're
you...
telling me it exists, right?
Okay,
Don't
we
say
disagree.
You're saying you're trying to say you shouldn't be saying things that are untrue. They've never responded
correct.
to me, right? And they've never investigated this. What you just finished saying, all they've done is they've talked to me, right? And now I do have confirmation because Officer Fagella did confirm with me yesterday, as well as Officer White before, that you guys did go out to speak to Justice McEwen. Neither time, there's no point where you guys have ever requested those audios. And my understanding, because I have found out what you're supposed to do, there's an order that you can prepare to request them, right? TPS has not requested them, right? So my question to you again is, if you can investigate why your officers didn't do anything, and why have they been ignoring me?
So they have not... Sorry, it's not that they haven't done anything. They have done a significant amount of work on this. Like I said to you, I will follow up about what the process is to get these recordings and to get the details for you for that, because I don't specifically have that. And I will send you an email by the end of my night shifts. But beyond that, there's nothing else. So if anything comes of these recordings, or if we get our hands on the recordings, and we can definitely investigate that. But if we don't have those recordings or we can't access them, there's nothing else that we can do. It's not a police matter from that point on.
Okay, but as long as I have, your agreement that you guys are going to take the right process to access those.
Well, we have taken the right process of this investigation up to this point, and like I said, I will look into what has happened or what requests or what process has been done right now for the recordings, and then I will get back to you on that.
Okay, yeah, because again, they have never requested the audios, and if they had done that back in September, that would have made things and then also keep me abreast of what's going on. I mean, you're talking to a woman who's just experienced something so traumatic like what I have been experiencing, And they didn't even bother to get back to me and let me know
So I
what's going
understand that.
on.
The more communication, the better. And I will agree with you on that part. The more, the better. I understand that.
Okay, I'm a real estate agent, so if I'm selling your house and I just leave you in the dark, you're going to be
100%.
like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
my house is, I'm
Yeah.
cleaning the place every 2 minutes and stuff like what.
I agree with you there.
All I'm saying is like, rather than, for me, it's not a matter of putting blame, but I'm just saying this is what happened. Sergeant, this is what happened, right? Sergeant Wood, this is what happened. They literally just left me in a lurch and just sort of left me like that, and I'm just sitting here going, what's going on? And I specifically said to them, what is the point of talking to Justice McEwen if you're not going to do a full investigation and get the audios, right? And they admitted that, they never even tried to request the audios. All they've done is basically they talked to me. I guess somebody went out and talked to Justice McEwen. They never investigated the white van outside of my house, which I told them in September, right? With him coming out to my house, 10:30 at night while I was watering my plants, They never investigated that either, so why? And that's why I'm saying, like, they haven't done all these things. And yes, I am frustrated.
I can see, yeah. I would be too in your position.
I apologize, but in a situation like this, how could I not be?
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's good to bring it to my attention, right? Because then everything that you've addressed, I will address with them, and I can respond to you in an email and just address each one of your concerns.
But I would rather have this investigation move to other officers.
So that's not something we can do. We can't. That is something against our policy. We do not do that. Once officers have investigated it, and if I look over it and determine that they've done their job, we will. Okay, but that's not for you to decide, right?
No, but you can see they haven't communicated with me. They haven't done all the things.
We're not going to get into all this again. I'm just going to say, if I determine that they've done their job, the next step from there is you to file a complaint with either our public complaints or the OIRPD, which is our governing body that oversees police conduct, right? So that just avoids us going back and forth. Because if I determine that what they've done is complete and there's nothing else we can do, I can't help you anymore. Nobody can help you anymore here. You'd have to go through the complaint process.
But again, you're telling me, right? Like Officer White was willing to help me. And you're shutting that down. I don't know why.
No, I'm not shutting that down.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Why should I not be able to follow up and get him to continue to help me?
I'm not shutting anything down. What do you mean I'm shutting down?
What I'm saying is I feel uncomfortable given everything that I've told you, where they haven't been communicating. They haven't done anything other than talk to me. Somebody talked to Justice McEwen, and they never.
Okay, I know. I understand that. You said that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just summarizing. Okay,
if I understand this.
Let me finish, right? I let you finish, right? So all I'm saying is because of the conduct and what they've done or haven't done so far, they never, because all they have to do is get an order to get the audios. They haven't even taken any steps that way at all. All they've done so far is try to invalidate me each and every time, right? And that's not what they're supposed to do. A woman who's experiencing this thing, you don't tell them, no, it must be you. You got it wrong and everything. No, I didn't. My sister has been in some of the hearings, and she sees what the judges have been doing. The judges have been leaning over and talking to the lawyers and say, how do we get her to shut up about this, right? And the lawyers have said, well, do this to her, do that to her, and they're trying to do it to me, right? So, and I can, I'll go and check, but I think somebody may have some record, not when the judge actually came on to, but at least some other ones, right? Of some of the other judges, some of their things. So if I can get that, but again, it would be more prudent again, and I really don't understand. I told them in September, I said, the audios are available, so why don't you just go and request them, right? All they have to do is there's a special order to do.
And did you tell them?
Right?
Okay, but you have to stop repeating everything. I understand.
No, I'm a salesperson, so you know how many times I have to repeat.
It's too much. It's too much. Once you say it once, I get it.
But you know what it is? Here's it. When I talk to my customers, if I don't repeat it many times, they don't get it.
Okay, but I'm not a customer,
I know,
and this is what I've been doing for
it's
25,
it's
22 years,
it's a force
okay?
of habit.
I get
Oh,
it.
you were good for that.
Oh, thanks.
You were that old.
Oh, thanks.
She's like a young chick.
Yeah.
So don't say I'm
That's
saying
no
something
problem.
wrong.
That's no problem.
Don't say I'm saying, I know. Oh, she told me something.
No, not at all. Okay, so
no.
why don't we leave this conversation with, I'm going to follow up with the officers, and I will send you an email before my night shift is over, so the next 2 nights, with, okay, what exactly was done to request these audios, okay, and then what conversations they've had with Toronto Police, and I'll follow up with Constable White to see if there's anything else that's possible that we can reach out to get any evidence that we can help you out. And so I will respond to those 3 things with you via email, and then we'll go from there.
Can I just say one other thing? Can you, because somebody apparently went and spoke to Justice McKeown, so I never, like, what happened there? Like, I never got any sort of updates to what happened with that
Sure,
one, right?
I can, yeah.
Like, I just don't want to be in the dark because I have no idea. And,
I understand,
And you can
yeah.
understand. So when you come out and say everything's been done, I'm like, what?
Okay.
Nobody's told me nothing, right?
So I can understand how you'd like to be updated for sure. So
Yeah, like, I
I
wanna know
will.
what's going on.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, like, transcripts from the court, I think, are kind of open. You can just go.
Yeah, like anybody can request those.
Yeah,
Definitely.
No, but what it is the judges want, because I sent you the emails, the judges
Yeah.
want to redact them, and then
Yes.
they don't want to give access to the audios,
Yeah.
right? So, I think if it's under investigation, the police can, that's why.
Well, it's not that easy, right? It's a very distinct process, and that we have to provide. I mean, if it's the same, it may be different in Toronto, but for us to get transcripts for a court hearing here for cases, it's a very in-depth process. That, like, say when you apply to get a report here, sometimes they're saying no, we won't release it. They do the same thing with us, determining what our grounds are, what the status of the investigation is, right? So it's not as easy as saying, hey, it's Sergeant Wood from Peel Police, can I have this? They're like, sure, here you go.
But if you
It's
smile,
not that.
if you smile, everybody
I mean, I
goes,
tried, but it doesn't work.
That's how.
The transcripts, you know what? This was all over an inheritance case.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
silly.
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah.
it took this route because it's
I don't know how it
the
sidetracked
hardest thing.
something
It's
like
like like even if honestly I didn't want to disparage him, and I actually reached out to, just because nobody would help me. Like I told several other judges, and now I've told the police, and it's what the women's group says, that's normal, that police and courts don't help you. And so then what you end up having to do is appease this guy. So you're appeasing him, like
Don't appease him, please.
No, but you're
I don't want to do
no,
that.
not doing anything. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
you're appeasing in the sense of trying to reason with them to say, these are all the reasons why we wouldn't be good together. And like that's all I've done. I've just tried to give, and I've tried to do it in the kindest way. But it's like the more kinder, it's like this guy just it's like and then he's trying now to have me attached to his court forever. Like and it's like he just wants to have this
much.
power over me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to just get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like honestly, I don't even want to go down, anywhere down there because I just want to stay away. Because and honestly, I think if I go into that courthouse, I think I would get assaulted either by the lawyers or because there's so much animosity, and I don't feel safe, right? And
That's important to us, right? Like, we want you to feel safe.
did they? But the other thing is they never investigated when Justice McKeown came out to my house in the summertime in a white van. I told them about that in September, and they never investigated that either.
Oh, again.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I will.
I forgot. There's so much.
I will respond to each one of these, and I'll speak with them, because what my job as a supervisor is to speak with my officers, figure out what was done, speak with you, your side of it, and then look into it both sides and let everybody know where we can go from here, right? So I want to make sure you're being heard, I want to make sure my officers are being heard, and then we can go from there.
But I mean, just given their no response, honestly, I don't feel comfortable dealing with them at all.
So I can make Constable White the contact person if you would like.
I would just, because
We could do that.
I just don't, you understand the sensitive nature of this whole
100%,
thing.
100%.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to me what sex or what color. It's just whoever is able to at least be compassionate.
So why don't we do this? I will, like I said, I'll speak with the officers, and if anybody's going to get in contact with you if we need more information, I will make sure it's Constable White, and we'll leave it at that.
And if I'm able to get a hold of any of the audios,
definitely let Constable White know. So that's the main thing. You try on your end.
It won't be the odd. It will, at least at this point. I think, like if you're doing an investigation because the audios exist, at least if they would give an attempt to put together an order to try and get those.
Well,
right?
like I said, I'll get back to you with an email about what their attempts have been, just so everybody's clear and on the same page. Okay, so if you continue to try on your end, I'll clear up what attempts have been done on mine, and if there's more attempts, I will make sure that's done, and then we can kind of go from there.
You've made me feel better because I feel like we're working like as a team as opposed to before. I just felt like I was left out in the cold, and it's like,
we don't want you to feel like that, right?
Here's this judge retaliating. That's exactly what he's doing now.
It just made it difficult because it was a self-representation.
Right.
And the other side had a lawyer, and then you had the judge.
See, and that's
So
not fair.
that lawyer is not going to side for you because they want to win there, and you are just like.
So that's a tough.
And then,
it does put you
and then it's like,
more
it's hard enough losing your mom and then having to fight your brothers to
I
get
couldn't imagine,
fight your brothers in court, and then to have a judge lay all this stuff on you where it's like he's trying to get a piece off you, and it's just so it's but I'm Western, so we just speak plainly, right?
No, I appreciate
you know what I'm saying?
that,
Like if you're just trying to get a piece, and it's like
and you don't need that on top of everything else, right?
It's like and then the hardest thing is why don't the guy just move on? Like if somebody doesn't respond to you, that's the same as saying no. So just like you must be able to get somebody else. Like it's a year and a half, and every time I think I'm about to get rid of him, he starts something else where now you're going to have to continue to be in contact with him some which way, right? Like I just want to, it's like a fatal attraction. Just
cut it, right? Like cut all ties.
Just move on because I just like to go to the gym and do something. I don't want to all this.
Yeah, you don't want to stress, right? And we want to do what we can for you. And like I said, it might not be the end result, I don't know, but like we'll do whatever we can in our powers, and I'll keep you updated, and then we can go from there.
And that's all I've been asking for throughout, and
so maybe a bit more communication, right?
Communication, knowing the things, knowing that they're doing something, that something's being done as opposed to be, you know what I mean? Like because all the things that they were supposed to look after, which I told them, and said none of it was even none of it. They didn't investigate.
So from my understanding, it was, and it has been, but like I said, I'll give the specific details and I'll send it to you in an email so we all are on the same page of what's happened and what we can or cannot do. Okay?
And even moving forward, I don't want to have to, I feel uncomfortable with...
like I said, we'll take Constable White, he'll be the one in charge of it, and he'll be the contact person.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Probably work out and stuff. Huh?
I do. Yes, I try to. Yeah.
So you got to go to Good Life. They have the spa there.
Right, even better.
I'm so glad you took the time to speak.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Face to face.
It's better that way.
And I'm sorry, but honestly, it's just been so much of.
I understand. Like it's a lot of stress. So it's like I definitely understand. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Take
email
care.
you in a couple of days.
All right.
All right.
I'll get the man.